Hi, I'm Jan Helder, a psychologist at OpenUp, and welcome to this course. Throughout my studies and work in psychology, the topic of self-confidence has always fascinated me. I've heard many questions about this topic, such as, is self-confidence innate or is it a skill that we develop? And why is it that some people radiate confidence while others struggle with it so much? And what factors in our environment make us confident and what factors can make us feel insecure? Throughout this course, we'll explore the answers to these questions in more detail, as well as focusing on the practical application of building your self-confidence and self-belief. First, let's start off with defining self-confidence. According to the Oxford University, self-confidence is a belief or assurance in yourself, trusting your abilities, judgment, or decisions, either in general or concerning a specific situation or activity. Having self-confidence means you accept and trust yourself more and know your strengths and weaknesses well, and generally have a positive view of yourself. You set realistic expectations and goals, communicate assertively, and can handle criticism better. If you do not resonate with this portrayed image, you may be dealing with low self-esteem. Typically, a person with low self-esteem is very critical of themselves and often downplays or ignores their positive qualities. If you're suffering from low self-esteem, you may judge yourself harshly and think you are inferior to others. You may also use negative words to describe yourself and experience a constant negative self-dialogue. And in turn, this leads to a lower self-confidence. But remember, the line between healthy self-confidence and low self-esteem is often blurred, and many people do not fall neatly into one of those categories. For instance, you may feel very confident in some areas, such as your work performance, but lack confidence in others, like personal relationships. The good news is that having high or low confidence is rarely related to your actual abilities, and mostly based on our self-perception. Self-perception is the process of observing and interpreting your own behaviors, thoughts, and feelings, and using these observations and interpretations to define yourself. Your self-perception affects your motivations, your attitudes, and your behaviors. Self-perception can help us make adequate estimates on how well we are doing something and if a course correction is required. For example, if your self-perception tells you that you are a good friend and a kind person, your behavior is likely to mirror this. On the other hand, if your self-perception is negative and you believe you are an unreliable friend or an unkind person, your behavior may start to reflect this as well. For example, by not making an effort to be on time because you're always late anyway. It's important to remember that your self-perception can be flawed and can change depending on your personal situation or the environment that you are in. So the next time you have a negative thought about yourself or face a situation that makes you feel insecure, challenge yourself to reframe your self-perception. For example, what you can ask yourself is, what evidence do I have to back this thought up? And do I always behave in this way? When you challenge your self-perception, you may be surprised to learn that you are capable of a lot and you're more skillful than you thought you were. Now that we have a better understanding of what self-confidence is and how it can impact our lives, let's dive deeper into defining and achieving your self-confidence goals in our next lesson.